Hi everybody. Today we're going to be covering the Twitchcast. I'm going to break the Twitchcast up into 3 parts because I don't really have time to watch an hour-long video, so I usually edit down the live cast, but this time I can't because it was such a good live cast that there's nothing to edit out. So instead, to make it easier to watch for busy people like myself, and you probably, I'm going to chop it into 3 chunks. The first part will be all about Bacon and the environment. The second part will be about Brad, and we'll see a lot of weapons and armor and all kinds of cool stuff. And the third part will be the question and answer portion of the show. Jalan already covered the intro, so I'm not going to cover the intro. And on Thursday, I'm going to release a cosmetic shop update video. So there's going to be 1 video every day from Monday through Thursday. I might try to do something on Friday if I have enough time. That way we can get a new video every day this week. Just like the last time, I'm going to try to stay out of the video as much as possible. You'll see my thoughts and comments written as text on the screen, and that's because I don't want to slow the video down. So, let's get started.
And Bacon's going to be talking to us about the environment team and what they've been up to and all of that jazz.
Welcome, Bacon!
Now it's a party.
Whoa! Did you bring bacon with you? Oh, did you bring candy?
Oh, I found it.
Heck yeah!
There's always room for bacon.
I'm sick today, so.
I
Oh,
have cough drops.
Oh,
No.
I have some in
who
my
needs
bowl.
cough drops when you have Jolly Ranchers?
This is
I
great.
have cough drops
Jolly
in that bowl
Ranchers.
on my desk if you do actually
okay.
need some.
These are the
Oh,
best
thank you.
cough drops.
I have like my mom bowl. It basically has like allergy medicine, everything you need in there. So first, introduce yourself for people who maybe don't know who you are.
Who doesn't know who I am?
I know. People should. If they don't, they should. And come closer.
Oh, okay.
Come closer.
Hello,
Get all
hello.
up in the scene.
All right. Well, I guess I'm Michael Bacon, and I'm lead environment dude.
Lead environment.
The
We should
lead
change the
environment
title to
dude.
Lead environment dude.
Lead environment dude.
Oh, you have a little title thing.
Yeah, I made
Yay!
titles for everyone.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I'm rocking the Sean Bean haircut
Nice.
now. So yeah, right before he gets his head chopped off.
Oh,
So.
spoilers!
Spoiler. Oh, so, that was season 1. Who doesn't know that?
Spoilers!
Okay, so Bacon, tell us a little bit about what the environment team has been up to.
We're like basically raging the war on 3 fronts. So, yeah. So we got like the MMO, and then we have both Castle Siege and APOC that we're working on. So yeah, just a lot of development work. It's just working on the tool stuff. We've been making a lot of progress with that, getting all our construction tools and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we showed some Dev Diaries videos on those things, so if you haven't gotten to check those out, definitely check them out. They're on our Ashes of Creation YouTube channel.
Yeah, so that a lot of refinements, to APOC as we move forward as we're starting to move towards launching that thing, and yeah, I mean just God, so it's hard to wrap my head around any one particular thing.
You can bracket them into specific categories if you want.
Gotcha. Okay, so like we did recently we did like an erosion pass, which actually put a lot of new detail into the terrains and things, which is was really cool.
Yeah, talk about how that erosion pass really, in the MMORPG, is going to just bring the ground, the leveling that's on the ground, and make it more realistic, right?
Well, yeah, because what we had before was like lumpy, and it was
Right.
like the standard 1990s kind of terrain looking thing. So yeah, this thing actually integrates a lot of detail into like cliff faces and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
just
it
makes
looks
look
really
a lot more
beautiful.
detailed. And,
And it gives some really cool kind of like gameplay aspects. I probably shouldn't have eaten this Jolly Rancher. I'm sorry. It gives some really cool gameplay aspects because it presents the players with unique terrain that they can utilize in a
you
tactical
got lots of
sense
cover
for combat,
space
cover,
and
that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
it added
the
quite a
tech
bit.
that you guys have been kind of creating, I think Devin's been working on it a lot too. Applied in APOC, but that's the testing ground for when it gets moved into the MMORPG map.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, and it'll be a lot more refined in the MMO.
That's good.
So kind of doing that. We got that approved,
And you guys have worked on some river pass stuff. I saw that.
yeah,
you guys
rivers,
worked on, which is
oceans,
cool.
the beach
Yeah.
stuff, which is still kind of a work in progress, but it's looking really great. Devin's been, kind of hitting that and doing a really good job on that front. And the new grass stuff, which we'll show today, which is really cool. And yeah, I mean, just I don't know, there's a lot of stuff, Castle Siege stuff, the whole destruction system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not at the point yet that we're going to share video of the destruction stuff yet. But
Yeah,
I
but I
think
mean,
we're getting close, right?
Yeah,
we're getting close.
we're getting a lot closer
Yeah.
with that. So Nate, our technical guy, has been doing a great job sort of refining some
What
of
have
that
you
stuff.
found has been like the thing that has been exciting in working on castle destruction?
Well,
stuff?
destruction's always exciting.
Yeah. Besides just blowing things
That's
up.
right.
I mean, it's like blowing stuff.
Stuff.
Everybody knows me.
I know.
Come on, man, loosen up a little bit.
And that's part of one of the depth diary videos as well, right? The destruction stuff.
That'll be later down the line, but yes, it is one of the
Cool.
it is one of the topics we'll be
Nice.
covering.
Well, the thing that's cool about that is like we initially talked about how we would do it, and it was like, oh, take this giant piece of mesh and then kind of have it damage states and that kind of thing, and worked its way into a point where we can do it more dynamically. It's not completely dynamic because like on a server, if you shoot the wall, it'll fall backwards and
Right.
one player
yeah.
and fall forward on the other player. So there's some kind of magic and some some tech that we had to
It's
implement to try to get that to
program
work
magic.
right. But yeah, but it's coming along. It's looking good. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very excited about that.
We can probably play some of the
so
building stuff.
Let's first play.
Whatever we want.
I think our first video that we have is the oceans and the waves and the grass details. So be showing that, and we can kind of talk over this.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. So like I said, there's the kind of ocean beach shader. That's kind of still a work in progress, but yeah, we got those waves are kind of coming in. We got the sand surface. Goes from like a wet, shiny,
Dry, yeah.
So-
to
It
dry.
looks very realistic.
And
It's so cool.
I mean, the key point here when you guys are looking at this video is this is all in game. Okay,
Yeah.
right now this is in the APOC level, but again, the APOC and the MMO are synonymous. They
Yeah,
are the same.
Yeah, all this tech is stuff that we're is all being moved over.
Absolutely.
I mean, technically, we are using it in the MMO. It's just
Right.
But right now, we're showcasing it in.
And this is
in the
cool
APOC.
some grass stuff. I think that it was Tad working on the grass stuff. Or, yeah.
Yeah, and Tad's
The wind, the rolling wind in the grass. I love
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, so you got like the
I
regular
love
grass
the
motion that he
ocean
put
stuff.
together, and then he basically put like this sort of pulse wave that kind of runs through it, kind of like a big kind of wind wave that's blowing through it. And,
I noticed people saying, what's the type of rig we'll need to run this at this type of beauty? The great thing about UE4 and what's being done from an optimization standpoint on the environment team is that this stuff will run on, you don't need a supercomputer to run this stuff and
Yeah,
look this good. I mean, it is something that,
Well, Tad's grass is like actually way more optimized than what we had
The
in
previous
before.
grass. Yeah, exactly.
It's like there's not a lot of alpha.
looks better and
overdrive.
is, performs better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, part of what you're seeing here in this level is really us fine tuning the environment team, fine tuning
a lot of us
all of
have been
this
doing
stuff. And the great thing is, when you have a team that's creating an MMORPG from scratch, you fine tune this stuff in the MMO. We get to fine tune it in APOC, and
Yeah.
it's done for the MMO.
Yeah. That's the thing that's been kind of weird because like we're breaking ground in the MMO, and then we're on the tail end refining stuff, and
Yes.
on APOC as it's
Yeah,
coming out.
because everything goes.
Then everything that
together.
we've refined in APOC gets moved over, to the MMO. So
And it also makes for a really good experience in our alphas. Like we're moving towards Alpha 1 with the MMO. You guys are building the Alpha world kind of map. And traditionally in some alphas that you'll see on other projects, they're very barren from a visual standpoint, right? Because they're essentially testing core systems, they're standing up those core systems, and they don't have the time necessarily to put towards establishing a visual environment and the
Yes.
character assets being complete. The great thing about what is being done for our Alpha 1 is that visually it will be up to a par that is respectable and will be beautiful for
Yeah.
players to participate in that Alpha 1. And that's kind of the experience we want to give players. We want you to not just experience the core systems, which are being worked on by engineering and design, but also allow the head start for the environment team, the character team, to get in there and make stuff beautiful for you so that when you do play, that immersive quality, which is such an important aspect of an MMORPG, is present at every stage of testing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you like stand in a location, you're like, I just want to live here. Can I live here? Is that your dream? Is that someone
that's my dream. Yeah.
sees like, a place that you created and they're like, I love this place so much, I wish I could be here.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So far, what has been your favorite thing to work on in the environments?
Oh, my favorite thing,
Yeah.
like me specifically.
Yeah.
Destruction.
The destruction. It goes back to the destruction.
No, I like
we know what you're about now.
No, just creating worlds and just spelling that out. I've been having a lot of fun working with Steven and the concept art. Spelling out the the design and look of the world. We've been doing a lot of work with the conceptual stuff, especially with the structures and things for all the different races.
And trying to make something new and different, which is, I think, a great segue to our next video from you all, which we're going to talk over. But if you want to kind of walk us through what all of this is.
So this is like the concept stuff that we've been working, or had been working on for, Empyrean Elf stuff? So we have the Pyrian stuff, which
this
is
Empyrean.
kind of all over APOC, and then this is kind of moving into the Empyrean kind of race. So these are this kind of structures going from the Node 1 kind of tent level all the way up to kind of the Metropolis, kind of some of the structures that you'll see in the game from there.
And you guys have seen in a previous developer diary with Devin, the building tool that's going to be utilized to kind of create a lot of these different structures.
Yeah, we're going to put that to the test.
We're going to put, yeah, exactly. I was going to say,
I don't think he built it to do exactly what some of this stuff does.
We're really going to be stressing that to see, what amount of modularity it can accommodate in these types of concept designs.
Especially with the different curvatures and changes. I think one of those things that people had said was that when Devin was showcasing the tool, that he was only showing like boxy things. But we can make things that are more curved and
it just takes a lot more pre-planning.
Yes.
But like some of the long sweep on that building, from the rooftop on the left, that'll be particularly difficult to do with this.
I mean, I think from your guys' standpoint, at least with the tool, you're going to categorize, the types of features and slopes and architectures that are present in these buildings in a way that makes sense from a modular standpoint, being able to accommodate as much as possible. And some of these concepts might adapt in order to accommodate that.
Of course, there'll
obviously.
Be a lot of give and take.
But the important thing for you guys to know when you're looking at these types of concepts and buildings that you're seeing on 2D representation is take a look at the quality of environments that we have already created in game and now project what is going to be created from these concepts and how that's going to look. The intent behind Ashes of Creation is to create a visually stunning world. And part of that visual stunningness is really, I don't even know if that's a word, stunningness?
Stunningness.
It is to have architecture that reflects the different cultures. I mean, we have 9 different cultures in Ashes. So there is a wide variety of architectural influences that go into creating these different buildings.
Well, that's been the key, and some of the challenges is like we have two different types of races, like for how do I say this?
Per like
subtypes. So you got humans, elves, and they've got the split off races, right? So it's like you want to make them different, but yet still have a footing. Like they still kind of fit within the same world as their counterpart. And so these guys right here, which is the Nikua, dwarves. And these have actually been super challenging because they're kind of Islander.
We were discussing this because we were chatting about it whenever I came by your desk, and you were saying how like there's some parts that just aren't quite there sometimes.
These ones are still kind of in development. We're still kind of injecting more. I think we're injecting more of the dwarven classic, kind of motifs into some of this stuff, but still being able to organically work, look like it works together. So, so I think they're a little bit more kind of into the native, kind of side of things, Islander kind of side of things right now, or you kind of pull them just a little bit more towards the dwarven. But I mean, the structures that you did look really interesting and really cool. So.
I'm excited to see those. So I think whenever we're able to show those in kind of the tool that Devin was making, being able to see all of that stuff.
I think the thing in particular with that race is, so you got like, the tents and stuff are the initial smaller structures in Node 1, but then what does that type of stuff look like when it reaches Metropolis? So that's been, kind of challenging as far as, taking what they have, which is a very Islander look, and like, and this is a gigantic Metropolis, that you'd think of city-esque, you know. But I think what he's
and that is where you're finding the challenge to be is like thinking about the Metropolis version of that.
Yeah,
exactly. You've got the tents down, but then when it comes
I think
to
it's
the
just
top
the progression of the architecture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is a definitive moment between village assets and city assets.
Exactly.
And, you know, that transition is oftentimes difficult to maintain while keeping the same type of influence that was present in the early stages.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, as the concept art is being directed, you know, you want to make sure that it is coherent, it is cohesive, and players will be able to tell throughout each stage what culture is being represented.
Yeah, and then but then at the same time, like on a balancing standpoint, they still got to look like they can square off with some of the other races. You know what I mean? So you got like the Empyreans or something, and their metropolis is going to be, you know, really stone and you know,
exactly.
And you think that, like, you know,
oh yeah, if they're competing against each
they're
other,
competing
like,
each other. You think that their metropolis versus the
and also trying to make it performant and optimized in the sense that, you know, each of these races, we don't want to have a vast library of materials and shaders that have to be represented every time, because these nodes can pop up anywhere in an area, right? And you know, making sure that there's consistency there as well from a performance standpoint.
Yeah, performance.
Performance.
But yeah, there's a lot that goes into the environment art that I don't think everyone always understands or sees. So
yeah, it's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole of vast technical problems.
Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think what's funny to me is a lot of people think like, oh, an environment artist is just an artist. I'm like, no, they need to understand programming to a certain level as well. So it's
Especially Bacon. Bacon's not just an artist; he's a Renaissance man.
A Renaissance man? What does that mean?
That means that you have skills in many areas, like a Da Vinci.
A Da Vinci?
Yeah, you're a musical dude. You're like an artist.
Pouring it on too much, man.
You do videography. Come on, that's one of the cool things about Bacon.
Yeah, I just like getting my hands on a lot of stuff. So
yes,
yeah, this makes this job particularly fun and, you know, and cool, because, you know, we wear a lot of hats and, you know.
Yeah, I think that is the thing about working with a smaller team too, is you get to do a lot of fun things. Sometimes you can get stuck with doing one job where you're just doing it every day and it gets monotonous. But like, I feel like we get the variety of choosing what we want to do. And
yeah, but I mean, the whole team's like that. Like, especially, you know, the environment team. I mean, you know, Tad was working on the character shader stuff, for instance. Yeah. You know, helping him out with that, you know, because he's very technical minded.
Yeah, even helping other departments for sure.
Yeah, that guy's mad skills in the technical department. So yeah. Very, very cool to be working with them. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. I know it took a little bit of convincing to get Bacon to come on the stream, but we appreciate it, and the community appreciates it.
Yeah, I don't know. I can deal with it. It's fun.
No.
It's fun to hang with
the Jolly Ranchers.
Right, there we go.
Yay!
Everybody.
He's just doing it on purpose now.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to swap over. We're going to bring on our character team representative here.
Yay! Brad Constantine, which is also a multifaceted, talented individual.
Yes.
Very much so.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Bacon.
All right.
Hey. Good job, man.
Well, that's today's episode. Tomorrow we'll see Brad, and he'll show us lots of new armor and weapons. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching.